So I'm going to do a video, well, a few videos, I think, on the issue of fraud. This one is kind of an everyday example of it. Now, according to Investopedia, a fraud involves falsification either by withholding important information, lying, or faking documents, or in this case, the packaging of products. Often the perpetrator of fraud knows something that the intended victim doesn't know. So in this case, it's going to be like where the product was made and actually details pertaining to the quality of the product. So obviously one thing that can happen is a false product description. A product is cheaper to manufacture than the manufacturer is letting on to the consumer. So it says also on the Investopedia, at heart, the individual company committing fraud is taking advantage of information asymmetry. So the victim cannot or does not try to verify the false information. So information asymmetry means that in this case, that the seller knows more about the product than the buyer, and they use that information advantage to deceive the buyer, trick the buyer into purchasing the product or purchasing it at a higher price than they otherwise would have done had they not been deceived. So I'm going to show you some examples of it. So I'm in a Finnish supermarket and I'm going to show you what honest marketing looks like. So in England in recent times we've had this phenomenon of extreme inflation, and one of the ways in which firms try to raise prices without people noticing it is by cheapening the ingredients. So when it comes to beer, obviously one thing you can do is just add more water. So you're charging people the same money or more for less beer, and that doesn't happen in Finland. Let's take this beer. It's called Bear in Finnish, Karhu. So it's an all malt lager. You can see the ingredients there is water, barley, malt and hops. It conforms to the German beer purity law, the Reinheitsgebot. This one won't give you a headache. The other thing as well is it's sold in different strengths. So you can see here, this one is 4.6% alcohol. If you want a stronger one, again, you can buy one that's 5.3% ABV. There's also very strong versions of it, of Karhu. If you want one without alcohol, there's that. And this one is 2.8%. What you've got here is full transparency, full disclosure. So you've not got the situation you've had in England of, say, Stella Artois. The packaging stays the same, and then they reduce the alcohol content from 5.2 to 5% to 4.8 to 4.6%, and it's all hidden away in tiny writing on the back of the can. Here it's all out in the open, and you can choose what strength you want to buy. And obviously different versions cost different amounts of money, but there's no kind of fraud. The other thing here as well is that when imports are sold, this is a Stella from Belgium, it's sold at the proper strength. So I don't know if you can see there, it's 5%, and it's imported from Belgium, so you get the real deal rather than the kind of knockoff versions produced under license in Britain that are basically guilty of passing off for the real thing. So if you look at the UK pack design for the Stella, what you'll actually see is the name Belgium is featured very prominently on the packaging. I'll just show you that now. But then if you were to go onto the website and read the small detail, you can see the actual fraud, because the beer is actually made in the UK. Although they're trying to disguise this fact with the prominent use of Belgium on the packaging. So for me, this is a clear example of fraud. You've got a deliberate deception. How many people in Britain are buying Stella Artois thinking that they're buying a beer that's been brewed in Belgium? It's got Belgium right across the front of it. But they're actually being deceived, aren't they? Because this beer is actually made in the UK, not Belgium. And presumably, the British distributors of this product are doing that because they presumably think that the beer will sell better if they pretend that it's been made in Belgium. So the thing is it's not just this one beer. There's several. Most of the so-called imported beer into Britain isn't imported at all. It's just complete marketing fraud. These beers are foreign looking label, maybe even some foreign language on the label to add into the deception. So there's other examples of it that go on in Britain. Beers like another Belgian beer, Lef, a Greek Mythos beer, that's brewed in the UK too, at 4.7%. Whereas in Finland, what we actually get in the supermarkets is the real stuff. So the Lef that we get is 6.6%, and the Mythos beer that we get in Finnish supermarkets is actually the real stuff that's being brewed in Greece at 5%, not a reduced 4.7%, which is basically just, the British trick here is that they're watering down the beer, charging you the same, if not more money, and then just pocketing the difference in terms of an extra profit margin. The same is true here for this Mythos. So again, that's the real thing. That's 5% brewed in Greece. Rather than what you get in England, which is something that's brewed under license to a much lower ABV, but they charge the same amount of money. I've heard in England now that Leffe is brewed under license in Britain, and it's 6%. So here in Finland, the Leffe that you buy is the real thing, brewed in Belgium, 6.6%. This is also phenomenal. So most of there's a massive beer scene here, and most of it is brewed here in Finland. All different types of beer styles, just literally like aisles and aisles of the stuff. Some British imports get here as well. All sorts of different types of beer brewed to different strengths. Something that's interesting that's happened a few months back, the Finnish government changed the law and they allowed beers up to, in the past it used to be just over 5%, 5.3%, something like that. Anything over that you had to go to a special shop called Alco, a state monopoly. That's now been relaxed, so you can see here there's all sorts of different beers. This is an Erdinger, like wheat beer bock at 7.3% alcohol. There's a Wein Heinz Stefaner, that's 7.7%. So that's €5.50. So I'll equate that into pounds on the screen. These have appeared now alongside the sort of more traditional beers, like these 4.5% of Pilsner, Pilsner Urquell, Kronenberg 1664 Rosé. What's also interesting is Finnish brewers have started to produce new types of beer, higher strength beer, and I think this only has come about because of this change in regulation. So this one, Tupla Yrki, is celebrating its president called Kekkonen from the, I would say, 50s and 60s, and that's 8%, so that's pretty strong. There's another one here that's 8%, Vahva, which means strong. It's quite interesting. What I'm emphasising here is just a choice, so I might pick this one up Stefana, Corbiniana. I've never seen that before. What's that? 7.4%. So quite strong. So please don't write in the comments that I'm an alcoholic, because I'm not. I drink like once or twice a week. What I'm just trying to show in this video is how government regulation can kind of distort a market, in this case the market for beer. And I think the government regulation is going to have an unintended consequence, in that people who maybe never wanted to try stronger beer, now it appears in the supermarket for the first time, they might actually buy it, and they might end up drinking more of that stuff at 7 or 8% rather than 4.7%. For me personally, that's unlikely to happen, but that's just my own tastes and preferences.